with Bulbeer. Today I am with Anupa Reddy from Deetales Design Studio. Hi Anupa.
Hi, Bulbeer.
Welcome to Walk the Talk with
Thank you so
Bulbeer.
much. Super excited.
So, how's the weather in Hyderabad?
Amazing. I think it's the most pleasant place ever. So,
I
yeah,
feel
it's
so
pretty
too,
good.
actually.
Yeah?
In fact, the past 5 days, the sun has come out today.
Yes. And it's also really nice and
Yeah,
pleasant. So, that's great.
absolutely. So, Anupa, tell me why details? Deetales. It's really attractive, to read the name and you want to know, where you're heading to. That was my experience, like, once I read the name. So, why was it spelled this way?
I'm super glad you asked me that. Firstly, I'd say the name that I picked for the firm, Details, itself encompasses what we do here. And we're really, really OCD about it in a very good way. We really like to tell stories with a bit of a deeper meaning. So details, just like when you're kids, you're watching DuckTales, it kind of sticks to you. We wanted a lighter note. And it also says tales, right? And DEE stands for that deeper aspect. So details that way.
Lovely.
It also is a very simple word that just comes within sentences in general. So it's sort of like a brand recall. And
Of course.
yeah, kind of that.
Details is something like, you keep using almost
Right.
quite a few times a day.
Yeah.
But with the spelling changes everything.
Yes, yes. That's where I think it's sort of the era also to create your own anagrams and words. So probably something
And then
like that.
it also is something that stays in the back of the mind.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like, so now I know it's Anupa Reddy. Oh, details.
Yes,
it's like that.
Extremely deep.
Yes.
Yes.
So Anupa, let's begin with Saya, from where your journey actually began, if I'm not mistaken. So,
right.
Please tell us something about it.
SIAC, Southern California Institute of Architecture. That's where I went to do my undergrad, bachelor's in architecture. It's in Los Angeles, California. 18-year-old me had gone away from home, away from everybody I knew to study. And I actually began at another university, but then I was in search of something that was going to push my boundaries or push the limits of thinking to a moment where it would justify me staying away from everybody I know. So I came across SIAC, and at that time it was quite a risk that I shifted from one university to another, because I had moved there without even going and seeing the campus. But the moment I got in and I applied, it's very difficult to get into the university. And the moment I got in my acceptance letter, I just moved. I took a chance, but I think it paid off, because it really opened doors to revolutionary thinking. And also not only that, but placed me amongst the who's who of the architecture field around the world. Wow. Which I think I cannot be more grateful for. So SIAC is amazing. It was something that is made so much of a difference to my thinking in daily life as well, not just design. And I think today there are a few more Indian students there, but it is definitely a very difficult school to get in. And if you are there, there's nothing like it.
Lovely. Yeah. So I'm sure you had like a fantastic
experience
from what I'm hearing.
It was a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of Red Bull and Monster nights, staying up and sleeping in your car, asking your team to wake you up, asking your friends to wake you up after half an hour of quick nap, etc. A lot of challenging, high standard deliverables. But yes, it's the most enriching experience.
Lovely. So once you got back, and all that you got with you, how has it been so far, with all the projects you've done, keeping in mind all that you learned at SIAC?
Well, the first thing when I came back, I felt like I sat in a time machine and I came back a decade, especially coming to Hyderabad, because a decade back, a little bit more than a decade back, Hyderabad was not as open to variety of design and experimentation as much as it is today. So it was quite an interesting challenge, because I had just learned so much at this place, and I come back here and the mindset is very different, where it is quite limiting. But I personally took that up as a challenge, that I must try to see if I could bridge or cross over these two different worlds and create my own. And I think there were a lot of people who appreciated the thought, the school of thought from there, and encouraged me as well. And without that, I don't think I would have faced the challenges with the vigor I could. And yeah, today we at Details is 9 year, going to turn 9 years in April. So I would say that there was a lot of tension of mindset and market and mentality of clients and vendors, etc., etc. But then I think going along with that challenge and creating an output which is let's say an amalgamation of all of everything together, really maybe somehow made us automatically stand a little bit apart from everybody else in our own unique way.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So interior design, architecture with Anupa Reddy so far has been fabulous, is what I understand. And I think from all the works that I've heard from you that you've done, looks really, really tempting to once go see what you've done. Your upcoming projects. You were talking about.
Right.
Will you throw some light on that as well?
Surely. I think every project for us is equally challenging, even if we do not see challenge if it's a mundane project like an apartment, and we get two apartments in the same complex or in the same community. We still strive to provide something which is non-repetitive, which has a very unique character. That itself is a little bit difficult to do. Even for us, we're trying to break and be newer ever than our design, which we did yesterday as well. That is definitely the starting point where we consciously begin. And going from there on to taking up really unique projects, like for instance, we had to work on India's first international standard dog park. We did get a chance to work on that along with the government. I mean, it's a beautiful initiative by the government of Telangana then. But we never had anything in our portfolio of that relevance. I think it just was confidence that the client / government / whoever was hired us had some idea that yes, there is a way of thinking, and the process of thinking is what can set it apart. And we were lucky to have and grateful to have clients who could catch that part and not just look at our portfolio and stick to it. And we were also brave enough and bold enough to go out and take on projects which would maybe expand the portfolio. For instance, we even did work on a racetrack here, which was an F2 graded racetrack. A lot of supercar fanatics in Hyderabad who wanted to have their own dedicated space to drive. That was a wonderful experience to work on. And yeah, we're now doing some really more interesting ones, which probably will reveal in next year's Ace Tech conversation.
Looking forward.
Walk the talk with Bulbeer next year.
Looking forward.
Thank you.
So the importance of natural environments to cities and the role of architects coming more forward and playing a larger role in planning the cities. What do you have to say about that?
So cities, I think in India, especially the ones that we already have inhabited and exhausted, there's not too much, I think, that can be done in whatever is planned, but maybe to kind of trace your steps back and see if you could take in small portions some sort of sustainable measure to make sure the CO2 levels are checked, etc. But the ones that are expanding, like Hyderabad is right now really booming and it's expanding in all directions. So there is a relevance of conserving balance into urbanization and retaining the natural habitat and environment. However, if I come down and microscopically talk about it, not on the master planning level, that's not really our forte, but I can give a generic idea. If I talk on the microscopic level, like the space you're sitting in right now, it's our studio. This is about a year old or young, and we have interior green rating for this particular studio that you're sitting in. That means you do have an architectural rating in a national rating called IGBC, and global it's called LEED. So the IGBC, you have a lot for architecture buildings and SCZ buildings, a lot of multi-office space complex. But for an independent office or an independent space, it's not mandatory to have that rating. We chose to have that, where we choose each material and maybe even technique, even simple choices like reusing some furniture from our previous studio, refurbishing it, using it in a more newer fashion. All of these gives you certain points. A very interesting take that we focused on making sure we arrive at as a challenge is, you normally think of sustainable or green design or anything that you want to kind of be closer to nature to be non-explorative, or maybe somewhere Scandinavian or really bland, but we choose to keep it bold and vibrant. At the same time, the choice of the underlaid materials is something that holds a sort of greener value. So we used and explored this wonderful veneers from Italy, which come in 500 odd shades. We use this wonderful micro topping and micro concreting, where it again has a green rating to it. And we also did our small tiny puja unit and a nook that we have. It is the process of creating that one piece was it was designed by us, but then we had actually collaborated with a local artisan who does a certain style and type of metal design. It's called Pemberthi, and that origin of that particular art and craft comes from the town Pemberthi. Now, this is only pertaining to Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, and this region. And this is where it origins from the world. So we encouraged them, or we wanted to collaborate with them on this. With that also we did get a point. So it's like encompassing all creative minds together.
Of course.
And encouraging local artisans, dyeing art, which we have, really beautiful ones, which we have around in the country. So all of these got us some sustainable points. And sustainability does not only mean natured and a couple of things. It also means making sensible or making a better choices where people and environment around you is better in some way. So we tried it in all directions.
That's great.
It's
a great initiative, because today's day and date, it's our generation and maybe, a little before us who are going to be, who have to do it.
Yeah.
If this is the time, like I was just, this morning I was running near the secretariat and I saw this wall which said that, it's us who has to save the next generation.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely right. I don't really pay attention to these things, but it just hit my eye. So I think, if you guys at your stage are going to be encouraging, saving the environment, and especially making homes and, taking this forward, because I don't think it's something easy to deal with when it comes to clients. Not everybody understands this.
Right.
They want to do everything what is superficial.
To come to think of it,
but also at the same time, they want everything to look like good. Nobody looks at the depth of things. What I experience now, that we want everything superficial, everything like yes, it looks beautiful, but internally how it's going to function, it's going to harm the environment, which is indirectly harming us, is something we don't realize till a point where there's no return.
Right.
So rather not get there, and work towards at least don't do those things that, could create issues later.
Yeah.
So if you all are going to be putting this, ahead, people coming to your office knowing that you've taken this green uh,
Rating.
is
Yeah.
like, they will definitely want to hear about it. They want to, I mean, I'm sure you must be having quite a few clients. You must be promoting green and sustainability and environment friendly, right?
Right. Yes. I mean, I would say it's more of a balance. As you said, it's not only superficial. It is aesthetic with a deeper meaning, hence
No,
details
I'm
in
not
so many
talking
ways
about yours.
possible.
I'm talking on general
Right.
basis.
No, as in
People
even the
wanted,
design approach is also something that we do not want to give only importance to sustainability. Neither do we want to give only importance to so
beauty and
yeah. So
all
I'm
those
saying the
things.
balance
Yeah,
of having
is
both
right.
is where close enough to the center point at least is where we try to
That's
achieve in every
amazing.
project.
That's amazing.
Sometimes we tell a client, sometimes we don't. It is just our own core value and something which we imbibe in all the designs that we do. The materials that we select, the brands we work with, we are being conscious enough to at least let the clients know in case of the particular material is going to be something which is non-relevant to this pertaining
No,
choice.
but
So
what is the response from clients? Are people getting into, making homes that are green and environmental friendly?
So
Are they buying
yes,
this?
I think definitely there is an awareness. There is some people
Lovely.
who look at it from not too deep a level, but then there are some clients. There is actually a couple of projects we're doing right now, which is completely all about slow living and eco living on a very sensorial manner. So we're really looking forward to those
And those are big
projects. Those
projects?
are bigger projects that are coming
Lovely.
in. But it's not only about that, being out in nature, because those are more like that. But even in this space that we're sitting in right now, you might, I don't know if you've ever felt it in any other spaces, but there are some spaces where when you walk in, you can feel fumes or you can feel your eyes burn or any of such sorts. You will not feel that in spaces like this. And imagine if this was your home. This is what we try to tell the client. You have a small child and you might want to put air purifiers and all of that. But what if you're not picking the right type of paint or polish or any of these, which could adhere to your own health? It's not just about sustainability, but it's about your everyday life.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's what it's all about. At the end of the day, whatever we do
absolutely.
for a good
Yeah,
living.
yeah,
But health
yeah.
is how it all
Right.
begins. But I must say that when I entered here and sitting here, there's no air conditioning that we have switched on, right? And I can
As of now, no.
feel the
Yeah,
cooling effect. I don't
yeah.
know where it's coming from, but I just, and now when you mentioned that it's green,
Yes,
I was like, okay, no wonder, because the products that you have used here are
yes,
definitely environment friendly, which is
yes.
why we are able to pull off, in so much of light, having a cool conversation in a
Yes,
cool
right,
environment.
right. Yes.
Yeah. So, what about your idea on luxury?
I think I'll go back to saying the same thing I just said. To me, luxury is not only something superficial, it has to be deeply ingrained in the DNA. So it has to be the details and the details of both. So I would say
Super.
details is luxury.
Perfect. Tell me your favorite sport.
Well, I would say I'm more of a dancer.
Oh,
So
wow.
I'm more of a performing arts sort of a person, and
Lovely.
I've always been into dance. And I think even today I bring that into my work.
Uh-huh.
And anytime I go to any site or any project, I think that what we end up doing with it is a choreography of these beautiful moves. We have music playing at studio all the time, almost all the time, and I believe that that itself also helps with the creative process. And yeah, so I would say that we create monuments of expressions using this entire fluidity, forte, and tying everything together.
Super.
Yeah.
So tell me, who inspired you to become what you are today?
Wow, that's a very, very, um, it's going to be a lengthy answer, I guess. I think there's no one person. There are just life experiences that you pick inspiration from, and then some experiences that just pick you up and throw you in another path. Maybe ultimately you would lead to this moment. Ultimately, we cross paths, right? So I would say I believe that there's a higher power and a direction to what you're doing, and an inner calling or an intuitiveness. So I believe in trusting my own gut and listening to what comes from within, as well as having some, definitely looking up to people within the field, within any other design field, or which is correlative to what we are doing. I would say, if I have to talk about a specific architect, I would say Big from Denmark, Bjarke Ingels. They have been one of my, um, I would say, inspiration from a holistic manner, and also ZZ Architects from India. I would say I really like a lot of things about everything, the way they are, the way they approach design, the way the firm functions, and they're a good inspiration to look at.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Great. So, of the many hats you wear and all your hobbies, what are the challenges that you face? Or what challenges you the most, professionally and otherwise?
I would say that I think we architects, or maybe specifically me, I'm a right brainer. So I'm very good at leading a team. I'm very good at designing and doing all of that. When it comes down to a lot of left brain work, I don't think I even want to step in there. So, hey, if anybody watching this, if you're really good at that, please reach out to us if you're looking for a job. But we have these processes that we're set in place and we're implementing it. So I'm really enjoying that whole thing, but that's not really what I want to do.
Okay.
Professionally, if you talk about it, I tell my team, I also tell them this in a metaphoric manner, because we talk a lot in metaphors. So I'm going to go ahead and say that. I tell them that I'm 20 feet tall. So basically, my head is all the way up in the clouds, and I'm pretty much just having a toe on the ground. So it kind of gives them an idea that those are the discussions that I can really give value to my time and our discussion and inputs at, and everything else should be taken care of. The processes and like all of that should be taken care of by them.
That's on my sleeve.
However, I will be there for sure, but it's just a metaphor to sort of begin our day and set the tone of discussions. So yeah, I would say that I would want to be up there in the clouds.
What about Art Deco?
Art Deco style.
Yeah, like how are you inspired by Art Deco?
So Art Deco is a style which is really, I think it had a very crucial moment of how something extremely ornate was being translated into something that is really to Art Nouveau, which is again ornate, but it's three-dimensional. And then Art Deco was trying to simplify it and come down to being more contemporary. Post that, we had a lot of contemporary versions. So I like Art Deco. It's a certain era setting that's there. But what we end up doing in Deetales is we hybridize designs. So we have these two styles and we sort of bring it into what and how it would work of the current times. Right now, I'm exploring a lot of Art Deco, as you ask. You see it everywhere because you are in this zone where you have this series which are all based in a certain era. So there's Lucifer. If you watch Lucifer, you see his Lux nightclub has this wonderful Art Deco stained glass. Or if you watch High Seas, it's a Spanish series. Okay. It's on this cruise and beautiful, beautiful Art Deco work. So it's all sort of coming back. A lot of clients are also interested in. They obviously nobody knows the timeline if you are not part of the subject, but it is what is calling and what's appealing to them. So we bring that in and we do our own version of it. But there's wonderful things that Art Deco is being utilized in fashion as well. And
Super.
Yes.
Anupa, tell me something about Ace Tech.
Ace Tech is a mammoth of a platform. I think it somehow brings everybody together under one roof. The field architecture or design in general is so large, and to be able to bring it down under one roof, I think is a very, very big challenge, which you guys are definitely facing and also gracing it really well. So yeah, it's one-stop shop for many ideas and newer innovations and relevant older brands also to have a lovely platform at. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Anupa. I
Thank
hope you
you.
enjoyed the
Thank you so much.
conversation.
Yes, absolutely.
I did.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Lovely. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for watching.